Okay, good morning, Unity of Orange County. Before I get started, just briefly, I want to say, during the meditation, I could just feel the connection. Your presence of being in connection to each other is very powerful. I hope you know that. It's a wonderful thing to see, and I love to be a part of it when I can. My talk for today is, get my little PowerPoint up here. Yesterday's Tomorrow. I love this title. And now it doesn't want to turn for me. It likes it. Okay. We got it straight now. And thank you for allowing me the chance to be here today and to speak to you guys. This is one of my favorite topics. I want to change that. So I kind of cheated because Yesterday's Tomorrow is actually the name of a book that I have. It's kind of a daily affirmation for people, hard case people. I found it over 30 years ago, and it's what helped me get into recovery. And eventually, within a year of recovery, I found a unity, and my life changed. I think I cried for the first 6 months of it, but So we know that yesterday's tomorrow is, of course, today, right? So why is it that we spend so much time in yesterday or tomorrow and not in today, not in this very moment? How many of us live in either? Either we're reviewing the past or we're rehearsing the future. I was rehearsing the future on the way here, I have to tell you, because I was thinking about being here and thinking about talking to you guys and seeing your lovely faces. So was I, and I was in the car with my granddaughters, they're amazing, and listening to music. I had to bring myself keep coming back to the music. Of course, we listen to their music when they're in the car, right? So it's cool. I'm good with it. Most of it, they know. So I kept bringing myself back to the music because I said, I'm going to talk today about this, and I can't be off in the future if I'm actually telling them that this is what I practice. So music does help me bring myself back. So I want to start first with a parable. You should see a little girl looking out, and there's a lion. So this little girl's very excited. She's spinning and spinning. She's out in the forest, dancing like a fairy. This is what the monk is sharing about her. She's dancing like a fairy, and she knows just recently she was engaged to be married, and just recently they set the date. And she's twirling, and she's thinking about all these things, the dress she'll wear, the flowers, the cake, all this one, how beautiful her partner's going to be standing before her as they gift our vows. And as she's spinning and spinning, the last spin she stops dead, and there's a lion in her face. This lion represents, hey, wake up. We're right here and right now. And how many times, I can't tell you, I can't count them probably, in your life have you gone along your business and then all of a sudden, poof, there's the lion. I'll give you one example for me. The last time I was supposed to speak here, I was on my way and I wrecked my car. I was so far off in, this is what I'm going to do, this is what it be, this is how long it takes to get there, that I didn't see the truck come around the bend. I lived on a very windy road, and I totaled it. Thank God I didn't total his truck and trailer, horse trailer, and thank God there were no horses in the trailer because I hate traumatizing horses. But it just took my car out, and I'm thinking to myself, why wasn't I present? I should have been able to see him. Even if he was traveling faster than he should, it doesn't matter. I should, and they're shooting all over myself, right? That's my lion. I've had other lions. Has anybody had just dead stops in your life? And you're like, what am I supposed to do now? Well, you're supposed to be present. And the monk, according to the monk in the parable, he says this is supposed to happen often to you because you need to be in this moment. This is where we are supposed to be and live our lives from. So, go ahead. This is me. You see the traffic? I live in Ramona, California. up the hill, well, actually past Ramona, up towards Julian. I know a lot of people have gone to Julian because it's a place for pies, right? And camping. And by the way, my other granddaughter is at work right now at Mom's Pies in Julian. So she can come today. She loves coming to different unities when I talk and stuff. So anyway, I work in Mission Valley, downtown San Diego. And I don't know if any of you spent time in San Diego, but to get from upper end to lower end, it takes more than an hour. And that's on a good day with good traffic and no accidents. You know, you're lucky to be able to get there an hour. So I drive an hour to work. And sometimes I'm driving along and I get to work and I went, how did I get here? Oh, I'm so glad I'm not alone. I thought maybe it was the age thing, right? I was like, well, how did I get this far and not have an accident? I stopped at every light. I went at every green light. I merged in traffic, everything. Because this is what we're doing. We're multitasking all the time. We're thinking about either reviewing the past or rehearsing the future. So like when I get to work, I need to make this call first, that call second, And I do this to myself a lot. So I found the practice of putting on, I like worship music. A lot of people think it's too mainstream, but I can translate unity. I've been in unity for so long, it doesn't, I just don't say the words I want and change them to what I want. I'm like, hey. So I can translate it. So I like, because that helps me stay in the car at the moment that I'm in the moment, and I get to see the sunrise, and I get to see the people, I get to see the children standing at the bus stop, waiting for the bus. And so I like to be present in that moment as I'm driving. So the definition of presence is being, existing, or occurring at this time and now, right? The gift of the presence is taught by all different kinds of spiritual leaders. I'm going to kind of go from Eastern to Western today, just to give you different examples. We started, of course, with the monk, let's be present. And the part that gets me the most is he says it's supposed to happen often. I'm not sure that I want that lion. Well, about a year and a half ago, I had it. And when I got a diagnosis, and they started talking about treatment, and I didn't know where I was. At the first 6 weeks, I couldn't even say it out loud. And because I'm a unity, long-term unity, if you say it, you affirm it, right? So you can't say it. So I wouldn't say the word, but I would just talk about going to treatment and stuff. And I had a lot of support, a lot of prayers. I asked all my unity friends, send me a prayer. And I put it in a little book so that every time I went for treatment, I had these prayers with me to keep me in the now, to remember that my job right then is to heal. That's what it was, not to worry about this. Or the kids are old enough, they can even feed themselves now. They can cook dinner for each other. So I actually got a lot of support in that way to be able to stay in the here and the now. I learned about this many years ago from the book. I don't know if you guys have read it, You Are Here Now by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a very old book, but he talks about when you're standing there and you're washing the dishes, to be washing the dishes, to feel the warmth of the water on your hands. I love warm water on my hands, pretty hot. To feel the dish, to feel the rag, If any of you guys still do that. We don't use the dishwasher. I have 4 of them at home. So when you're in that moment, to look out the window, to see the wildlife behind us. We live on 11 acres, so to see all that wildlife behind us, we can stay in that moment. And when I learned this, I was still, I felt like I was still kind of young. I had, 20-year-olds at home. But it was interesting for me to feel that kind of philosophy and when I went through that book, I feel like I learned a lot, and it also set me up with unity learning. So in the scripture, it says on Psalm 46:10, it says, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. God is always there for us. God is always with us and be in this. But we practice that in our daily lives. And we want to remember we can still do it in the car. We can still do it when we're at work. We can still understand that peace and be in that moment. Because studies show that, in fact, multitasking is not good for us. It's physically, emotionally, is not good for us. So does anybody know that there's a difference between meditation and mindfulness? A lot of people don't know that they're not the same because they're used so interchangeably, right? People talk about, I'm meditating, so that means, but I'm mindful, so that I meditate. So they work together, but meditation is focused on training the mind and developing concentration and deepening your insights, whereas mindfulness is cultivating an open and non-judgmental awareness in the moment, leading to greater insight, acceptance, and overall well-being. That's what we're trying to learn, is to be mindful of our day as we move through it, right? Our yesterday's tomorrow, which is in this moment, right here. So from the Eastern philosophy, Thich Nhat Hanh says, life is available only in the present moment. Did you know that? Your life is a series of moments. Here's one, and here's one. Every one of them probably completely different in some way or another, but it is a chain of moments. So why not look out and see a beautiful smile, a friendly face, maybe even a pursed lips. Look at the people that you're talking to. How many times have you talked? It just seems like it's going on more and more now. You talk to somebody and they're looking down or looking at their phone. I go to dinner with my husband and he puts out, and it's like every time that little thing dings, he picks it up and I'm just like, you're losing points. Every time you pick it up. Because to me, he should be in this moment with me. And even if it's silent, we should be able to reflect upon each other and where we are in our life. So, in the Western philosophy says, and I'm picking up on Eckhart Tolle, as if you guys, anybody ever read him, The Power of Now? Realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. Can you focus on the now in this moment? And these are only two. There's probably dozens more philosophies around this. So I'm just going to keep in these two because we don't have all day, right? And it's not a workshop. So being present or being in the now is different in a different language and different way to do it in all across the world. We're going to talk about the pros and cons, kind of being in the now. We'll start with the cons, and this is real. A lot of this is statistically proven. It can interfere with your working memory. Is there anybody out there besides me that is worried about their working memory? Every time I leave a room and can't find my phone, I make one of them call me. It's gotten to where I lose my tablet. I bought myself some little homing things so I can detect where my tablet's at. I don't know where I left it last. But to stay focused is healthy, but to stay in this multitasking, that's where we start challenging our memory, and that's not good. It says it can cause students to do worse in school because they're doing too much at once. It can cause employees to be less productive because they're scattered thinking. I work for a interfaith shelter network, and I'm a program manager, and I run the rotational shelter for homeless people. And oftentimes I'm sitting at my desk and my boss will come in and ask me for something, not what I was working on. So it interrupts me, and then I have to go do that, and I have to come back and I have to remember where I was because, he wants me to go to this set or whatever. And it's like, to me, so lately I've just been kind of closing my doors. So if they knock, I'll go like this or like, no, not right now. So it does reduce your ability to focus. It can exacerbate impulsiveness. I worked years to get rid of that, being impulsive. That's what led me to 12 steps. And I didn't want to be that way anymore. So I don't want to go back there. And it can worsen your performance overall. It can decrease the task quality. So you may be getting it done. I may be getting it done at work. But if I'm scattered too much, I didn't give it my all. I didn't stay in the moment and be present with it. So, yeah. But there are benefits for staying in the moment, in the now. And these are statistically proven. Decreases depression. I need that. Increases emotional regulation. So it keeps your emotions more balanced. It reduces anxiety and stress. And it feels like the generations behind us have actually grown in anxiety. And if we could teach them to stay in the moment, they might have less of that. Fortunately, I have reflections mirrors all day long in my house of where my behavior starts and ends. But it is about trying to be in the present moment. And that helps you reduce the anxiety because you're not reliving or rehearsing, reviewing or rehearsing, right? As I can tell you, I could go back over the 60-something years and remember all the things I did wrong. And I could probably write them out for you because they pop into my brain every once in a while. I go, wait, that's not today. That is not today. That is yesterday, long ago yesterday. So it can help you build stronger relationships because you're connected with somebody else. You stay eye to eye. You see their reaction to your speech. Because speech isn't just about, I'm talking, I'm throwing this at you. If I look at your reaction, then I know maybe I need to elaborate more, or I've gone too far, and I can ask, so how does that hit you? Is there something you want to talk about? But if I'm doing this, yeah, I said this is that, then I'm not staying consciously aware. So it does help cognitive improvements, and it lowers your blood pressure, yes, and your stress, and it increases the sense of joy. I could use a lot of joy, right? Who couldn't use more joy? I don't think the person with the most amount of joy would turn down more joy. So Tolle says there are tools that will help you in this way to stay in this moment. The first one, he says, avoid complaining. Right? Just avoid it. Just like if you notice yourself getting into it, just step away from it, and cut it off. We're not perfect. We're not going to get rid of everything all at once, but we can work at it. And we can become who we want to be. And we start by avoiding the complaining. So if you notice yourself going, oh my God, that car cut me off, I'm going to, you can go, they must be in a hurry, and it's more important for them to get away from me because I don't want them to hit me behind. Okay. And if you don't stay in the now, like I talked about before, your past can actually ruin this moment. And I notice when I'm going along driving and I see a flash of something, and before you know it, I'm 40 years ago, and it's like, what triggered that? So I follow myself back. What was this to that, to this to that, and then it was that truck, and I go, I'm going to release that, because that's how I help myself remember. It was just a series of triggers. It's neurons firing in my mind, telling me, oh, this reminds you of blah, blah, blah. No, that's then. This is the now. And the ego is tied to your mind. So if you're trying to amp up your ego, might not be the wisest thing for staying in the now. It might help some people, but the ego is outside, I've noticed, to me, maybe you guys practice this differently. The ego is actually outside of who I am. It's something I grasp onto and I want to say, oh, I'm better at that, or oh, I did that better than anybody, or mine was better. Sometimes my husband will do something. I'll say something that we want to fix, and I'll say, this is how we do it. And then he goes and does it, and he comes back and goes, I'm glad I did that. And I'm like, didn't I just give you all that information? I'm like, okay, I didn't have anything to do with it, right? But that ego keeps me separate from my spirit, keeps me separate from my connections. It actually, for me, it puts a block in there. And one of the pros for this is you learn more about who you are. And you learn more about who's around you. Because as students of Unity, too many wrong people or negative people around you, you start falling into that. And you don't want to fall into that. You want to be separate from it. It keeps you in the openness, in connectedness, willing to say thank you when somebody opens the door for you. So many people don't even say thank you anymore. And it's like, look at me and say, and I'm not saying you owe me it, but I'm saying you missed a chance to connect to me in this moment. And that's a lost opportunity. But the ones that do, or I'll hold the door or they'll hold the door, I always look in their face and say, thank you so much. And they always have something kind they say back. They don't go, yeah, whatever. They always say, like, have a great day or something like that. There's always something else. So I get to stay in that moment and connect to that person, and that keeps me in the present. So has anybody heard of what 1,440 kind of means now? You? No? Okay. That's how many minutes you get every day. That's how many minutes in 24 hours. And it's your gift of the presence to use them wisely. So in the Buddhist teachings, it says that mindfulness is a way of life, offering our thoughts and our emotions, observing our thoughts and emotions, and that's a real big one. I'm in the middle of a book right now that's really calling me to be the observer, to hover above myself and understand what's happening. And when you start looking at it from that way, it's like, whoa, I didn't even understand that. It was a reflex that I was doing. Cultivate your inner peace and connectedness, interconnectedness and inner being, joy in the simple moments, and happiness in the present moment. Even if it may not seem like it's a great moment. So the two schools of thought here, the Eastern and Western, really kind of are the same thing with different words. Have you noticed that? It's my philosophy that we're all speaking the same thing. Just me. That we're all at the bottom of this mountain, strung up, can't see each other, walking around trying to do our things, turn prayer, and we all start hiking up. And the further up we get, we begin to see the people that are also on the mountain. And as we get up to the top, we realize that we all may have started from a destination, but our destination, where we finished, was all the same. We're all oneness. This is what it says in our basic principles, right? We are all oneness, not just the ones we like. We are all oneness. So we choose gentle teachings and practical exercises which offer guidance on integrating mindfulness into your daily lives. Now, I can give you a whole list of what to do, but you're yourself. You know what you need to do. You know what keeps you connected, like I talked about music. I like reading too, reading very inspiring books. That keeps me connected. So each and every person is going to be different. What keeps you connected in your life to the moment, to the present, and to the now? Cultivating the inner peace, you stay focused and connected. We are one. Simple. We say that all the time in our principles, right? We are one. And we really are. I didn't know that for many years. How about you guys? Took me a knock on the head to get that. So, you should see presence, right, on your little screen there. Gifts. Okay, give yourself the precious gift of being. So we're going to have a quick practice. I'm going to ask you to do something for me. So I want you to just think. You can keep your eyes open or close them, whatever you do, whatever helps you if the vision is distracting. And think for a moment about you go to bed tonight and you wake up in the morning and your room is filled with gifts, wrapped brightly, beautifully, bows, everything, just like the ones on the pictures, just beautiful colors, everything. These are the gifts of now. How are you going to spend them? Right? You get that every day. If we can visualize, like for the first thing in the morning, visualize that, oh, I have these gifts. What can I use them to do? How can I spend them wisely in joy and in love and in connection? So your homework this week is to do that. Try and remember tomorrow morning, and if you can do it a few days in a row, it's helpful. But when you wake up, you have those gifts. They're already there, they're wrapped, they're beautiful. Pick one up, open it up, and use it to what keeps you in your now. If it's calling a friend to love them up, I've been doing that a lot more lately with, especially, you meet people and you know them, and some of them are way away, now distance is so far between us. But knowing that I can call them or I can FaceTime them, I've been doing that a lot more to stay connected in them. What will you use your gifts for? For you to stay in the now. Thank you.